I've been struggling with anxiety for basically my entire life. You ever just do something simple and, like go to the grocery store and you just kind of get this pit in your stomach and you're just like, why am I feeling this way? Um, yeah, that happens to me all the time. Uh, Me and anxiety, we're like best buddies. We hang out. I visit his house on the weekends. No, but I've been struggling with anxiety for as long as I can remember, and it's just this weird thing where you could just be doing the most basic task, the most basic thing that everybody else does on a normal day, and you just feel this overwhelming sense of just of heaviness in your stomach, and you just feel like this sense of worry on like what's going to happen, or like you start to overthink everything, and I feel like also anxiety and overthinking really goes hand in hand. um, I just I'm always a worrier. I'm a chronic worrier, if you will. And it freaking sucks because wish I was some of you where you guys could literally just go and do whatever and not have to deal with feeling a certain way, or feeling, why am I feeling this way? Why is it whenever I go to the grocery store, I'm afraid that people are looking at me? Or, why is it when I go to the doctor's office and I'm in the waiting room, like, why I'm worried about people who look at me? And that might sound kind of self-absorbed in some way, but at the same time, you just start to think about all these things, and all these things just kind of come at you at once, and you don't even really know why. Before I go somewhere, I'm like, why am I feeling this way? And it just kind of it sticks with you until I get something done, until I'm I'm over with whatever I need to get over with, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. Is when I'm good. It's like a chronic worry for something so small and so insignificant. You know, just like basic tasks. And I wish I didn't feel that way. And there's some people who could just get up and just go do something and not have a problem with. And God, salute to you. Like I wish I could be you, where I can just enjoy what I'm doing. Getting in the way, worrying and having anxiety, it gets in the way of doing things you can enjoy. I really feel like I really haven't enjoyed anything in a long time, because my anxiety has just been so high for no reason. Even knowing in the back of my mind, where I'm like, nine times out of 10 it'll work out, and there's no reason for me to be so stressed out and focused on one little thing, or focused on worrying about things that don't really matter. Even then, it really messes with you. Even when it shouldn't, even when you're just trying to enjoy the moment. A lot of the time, I get worried about stuff without a reason, and let me explain. I just go somewhere. I go to college class. I do things, and my first thing in my brain is like, all right, we're just gonna worry. We're just gonna start worrying. We're gonna make sure that you have the worst experience and you don't enjoy anything like anybody else. So that's what my brain decides to do, is just to start worrying about the most stupid, pointless things, and it's not even a certain thing. And I wish I just didn't have that. Woo! I wish I didn't feel that. And I'm sure it's especially now. I mean, my generation, Gen Z, I feel like also has a reason to be chronic worriers because of COVID. I feel like, part of it was COVID. I feel like our generation is so overexposed in terms of media that we just worry about how we look. We worry about what other people think. We worry about trying to please other people. We worry about countless things for no reason, considering that we're around technology all the time and we can just see everything that's going on in the world, and it makes you worry. So our generation is definitely the worriers. I feel like, in my opinion. We just have this sense of absolute worry, and a lot of the friends that I know, from what I can tell, don't really worry about a lot of things. Don't really worry about their future, don't really worry about where they want to go. And I'm not like that. I am always worrying about where I want to go, what I want to do, what's the next thing I want to do, how much money do I have, how much money am I saving. Everything just builds up. It's just it might be an OCD thing as well. I don't know. I might have a little bit of OCD because I feel like everything has to be kind of in a perfect way for me to be satisfied, which is certainly an OCD thing, and maybe anxiety as well. But that's the thing, I need to have a routine. I need to have a routine in order for me to feel satisfied. If I don't have a routine in the day, I start to get worried. If I don't get up at 7:55 and be out the door by exactly 8:50, I get worried. I can't, I can't be late to things. Everything has to be super on point for me to be satisfied. And I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. And it's something I need to deal with and I need to work on, and I stress about things that don't matter, and I stress about things that do matter. It's a battle, and I wish that, and I'm throwing this video out because I feel like people would really relate to it, just stressing out. And I would love to hear, what you guys have to say as well. I can't be the only one, who feels the same way. I feel like worrying is something that we all do, and it's got to be. I'm sure it's universal. I'm sure everybody worries about something, But I just, there's a point where worrying for me just gets into the every day of my life, and I feel like I can't really control it sometimes. I wish I could, and there's even times where I do try to control it. And believe me, I try to control my worrying. I try to take deep breaths. I try to, just live in the moment. I really try to do those things, but it just keeps coming back. Worrying is just something that's part of me that I wish wasn't. Even I don't even really look at the news or anything. I don't really look at current topics, but I just worry about where we're gonna go as a society, how we're gonna live, how my generation is gonna figure out a way to get through all this crap that's going on in the world. It's just such a hard thing, and it's a double-edged sword, because having anxiety makes you mess up even more, and it makes you make even more mistakes. And I don't want to make more mistakes. I already get stressed out with the ones that I make already. There's definitely been a few life-altering things that has helped me relax. I used to, when I used to drive a few years ago, I used to rush. I used to rush through everything. I used to not take my time when I was driving. I would just be like, okay, I gotta get home. I gotta do this. I was always thinking. I was always 10 steps ahead of everything I was doing, and it was painful because it was just the way I was thinking at the time. I didn't control that. It didn't feel like I had control over that. It just felt like it was the way I was. I didn't have control over my anxiety as much as I do now. Not saying that it's not there. I just know I kind of found ways of living through life and learning different lessons that I know how to control it, and how to manage it a little bit better. You go through life and you live and you make a lot of mistakes when rushing and being anxious. And so over time, you just kind of build a certain way to deal with those anxieties. I used to drive, when I drove, I was very erratic and just, I wasn't a great driver. Not saying that I am now, but driving, I was just kind of I gotta get home. But now, after my car crash, which I will talk about probably next video, I slowed down. I slowed down way more. I took my time way more. And I knew that it just wasn't right. It wasn't right for me to rush. I make way more mistakes. I do stupid shit. I hurt myself. So it's all about just learning how to slow down. And I'm from New York, so it's hard. Slowing down was not an easy thing for me to learn, and I'm still trying to deal with it. It's always going to be in your blood if you're from New York. You're always going to be wanting to rush around, and what's the next thing to do, and how am I going to get this done in a fast way. You're always thinking about the next thing, because that's just the way it is when you live there. It's always something. It's always the next thing. It's always the next idea. What is it? What are we doing now? How do we work this out? So New York is super fast paced, and where I live now, it's not. It's it's exactly opposite of that. So just trying to adapt in that way has been really, really tough. And I'm still living with that stuff today. So yeah, it's just a tough thing. It's just a tough thing to figure out. But eventually I know I'll get there, and I know that if you're watching too and you deal with these struggles, you'll probably get there too in life. It's just about learning. It's just about figuring it out and trying to shape who you are through the mistakes you make, and how to prevent them, and what to do next. What's the next thing? How can I control it? Is it breathing? Doing research. I did a bunch of research on how to figure it out. Controlled breathing, certain breathing techniques. It might sound stupid and it might sound ridiculous, but it works. Just trying to live in the moment, trying to just be there, just enjoy it. You live one time. And you only get one shot at this life. And spending all your time where you should be enjoying it, worrying and being anxious, it ruins every experience. Up until by the time I was probably 18, I still have the same problem, but it's dumbed down now. But whenever it would be an experience, whether hanging out with friends or even just being on a phone call with friends, it was just anxiety. It was just like, what am I gonna say next? How do I not make this awkward? So that's another struggle that I dealt with. So anyway, the sun's going down now. I think it's a good time to ask you guys a question. How do you deal with your anxiety? What do you do? What do you do to figure it out? Do you do deep breathing? Do you meditate? Do you do therapy? What is your intended fix for anxiety? How do you control it? I want to hear it. And if you want to hear what I have to say next, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to be pumping these out a lot more. So hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video.